Jusuf Nurkic is playing at an absolutely elite level right now, and NURK fever is back, and I got a case of it. The Bosnian Beast is on a rampage right now, and it started with those games against Golden State where he was beasting up on Draymond, had a solid game against Philadelphia, and then against the Sacramento Kings he made history. 24 points, 23 rebounds, 7 assists, 5 steals, 5 blocks. The first player to get 20 points and 20 rebounds in a game where he also had at least 5 assists, 5 steals, and 5 blocks. That's a 20 by 20 game and a 5 by 5 game all in one. And this is exactly what we need for the Portland Trail Blazers to take the next step. We need Jusuf Nurkic evolving into an all-star level big man, and right now he's playing like one. He's always been a very good rim protector, and his defense has been phenomenal this year, and he just showed that with 5 steals and 5 blocks. But his offense, from taking it strong to guys like Draymond Green and Kevin Durant, to his rebounding, which is absolutely elite right now as well. And then you got his passing, which is making a return to the Nurkic fever days. This dude has the potential to be an all-star level big man, and I think everybody, including Terry Stotts, is just now realizing it, and realizing that they should make best use of Nurkic as a high post passer, as a low post threat, and it's bearing fruit right now. Of course, next game he might go 2 for 15, but I think the amount of touches he's getting and playing the offense through him is crucial to his development. And with our hands kind of tied in regards to upgrading the team right now, we need to rely on internal development. And the two most likely candidates to pop and have explosive development is Jusuf Nurkic and Zach Collins. I think the next step in Nurkic's development is seeing over 30 minutes per game, because right now he's only seeing 27. So while you may look at his stats and say, oh, he's getting a little under 15 points per game and 10 rebounds and a little under 3 assists per game, that's good, but that's not great. You have to remember, he's only playing 27 minutes a game. If he got that up to around 32 or even 33 minutes per game, his stats would look borderline all-star. You're talking about a little over 17 points per game, around 12 rebounds, almost 4 assists, and probably better numbers if they run the offense through him like they have been in the past few games. This dude has more of a chance at becoming an all-star in the next couple years than CJ McCollum, in my opinion. Shout out to Eric Griffith from Blazers Edge, because he pointed out that part of Nurkic's development this year is his free throw rate. He's getting to the line a ton. He's shooting a free throw and a half more than he did last year, and that's in the same amount of minutes per game. But not only is he shooting more free throws, he's also making more free throws. His percentage went from 63% to now a very solid 75%. This dude knocks down free throws, and that's a credit to Jusuf Nurkic, who probably worked his tail off on shooting free throws this past summer so that he could be efficient enough from the free throw line where it wasn't a bad thing when he got fouled inside. He's taking his time, he's kind of setting up his moves a little better. For the most part, he's also making better decisions on whether to pass or look to attack the basket. And another part of his development that I've seen is him being able to put away mistakes, him being able to get over mistakes, move on to the next play, and not let a mistake early on in the game hamper his production for the rest of the game. Because early on in that Sacramento Kings game, during the first 4 or 5 minutes or so, he looked awful. I counted 4 turnovers during the first 4 or 5 minutes. One was on an inbounds pass that he threw right to the other team under his own basket. He wasn't seeing the backside help on Dame's and CJ's back cuts, and he was basically just throwing it right into the backside help's hands. He had some very bad turnovers. Last year, I think that would have ruined the rest of the game for him. He would have gotten checked out mentally, he would have gotten a little bit down on himself, and he would not have had a good game. But that Sacramento Kings game, after having 4 early game turnovers, what did he do? He posted a stat line that nobody has ever posted before. He made history. And he had one of the best performances I've seen from a Portland Trail Blazers big man. I think his mentality is another part of his development that's been promising so far this year. Moving on to other things with the game. Down the stretch, we were absolutely terrible. We blew a 14-point lead in the second half. We let Sacramento come back and take a 9-point lead that took a miraculous comeback to come out of, which of course we did. We won the game, but we just had so little energy down the stretch until we made that comeback. No ball movement, stagnant offense, the same things that always plague us, that I'm a broken record when I talk about them. They reared their head again, and honestly, when we get down late in the fourth quarter, we usually resort to hero ball, Dame or CJ trying to bail us out by going 1-on-1 or 1-on-2 and them oftentimes missing shots. That's a reason why we are 0-16 after trailing after 3 quarters. But there's something to that stat. We're 22-0 when leading after 3 quarters, and I thought that was going to change in that Sacramento Kings game because we had a lead going into the 4th quarter. We got down 9, and then they came back and won the game in overtime. So there really must be something to that stat. We're almost halfway through the season where we haven't lost a game winning after 3, and we haven't won a game when trailing after 3. That's insane. One thing I do want to see is I want to see either Jake Layman take Nick Stauskas' minutes or Seth Curry get more minutes from Nick Stauskas, because right now I don't think Nick Stauskas should be on the floor. He takes way too many bad 3-point attempts. Oftentimes he's way off balance. He doesn't really do anything else well. I know he has some nice passes here or there, but he's not really a playmaker. He has a lot of bad turnovers, and by bad it'll just be him being loose with the ball, driving the lane, and will dribble it right into another defender's hands type of thing. It's not like he's trying to thread a pass and it barely gets tipped. I'm talking about bad turnovers where he just is not secure enough with the ball. So his playmaking combined with that isn't that good. His defense isn't good. He doesn't really get to the rim. He'll have a nice game here or there where he looks like an actual NBA player, and he has talent, and he can definitely shoot the 3. He's just nowhere near consistent enough to be a good 3-point shooter. Right now he's shooting under 35%, and this was a guy who was brought in with Neil Olshey saying, yeah, we wanted to bring in more shooters. Meanwhile, you got Seth Curry lighting it up. He had 18 points against the Sacramento Kings, and he is finally getting his rhythm back. A lot of people gave up on him way too early because he didn't play basketball for a year, and he was still shooting the 3 ball well. He just needed to get that feel back to be more of an off-the-dribble threat, more of a slasher, and now he's finally getting that rhythm back. He's getting that confidence back, and look what happens. He burst out for 18 points against the Kings. The problem I had is he only played 22 minutes, and that was a lot with a 3-guard lineup. I would like to see him getting 25 to 27 minutes a game. There's 25 minutes per game at the backup 1 and 2 guard spots. I think he should be getting all of those, and to make that happen, you have to stagger Dame and CJ, so one of them is in the game. CJ, I think, needs to play with his bench unit, like I've said numerous times before, and it becomes more and more obvious each game. If only just to get Seth Curry more minutes, because this dude could be a top 5-6 man in the league. I honestly believe that. He's a lethal shooter right now. You're talking about a guy who's taking 2.5 3-point attempts per game and shooting 51% on them. He should be getting more 3s. He should definitely be getting more minutes because this dude is elite from the 3-point line right now. He's the type of shooter I wanted off the bench for years. I always wanted a guy like JJ Redick or Kyle Korver, but Seth Curry? He's shooting better than both those guys right now, and he's more of an off-the-dribble threat. He needs to see more minutes. Dame was sick during this game, and he didn't really show up until late, but props to Dame. That's the type of guy that he'll be sick and he'll have no energy all game, but somehow he finds a way to turn it on when the team needs him the most and lead a comeback, because that's what he did. I was very surprised at the end of the game to see that he had 25 points, because it was a very, very quiet 25. And a lot of those points were in crunch time. So props to Dame for showing up when the team needed him most. This was a very good win for the Portland Trail Blazers to finally get a comeback win. Even though they were leading going into the 4th quarter, they were down 9 with 3 minutes left. So that's a comeback win in my book for sure. You got to get wins like this. Sacramento is a very solid team. This might be the best team Sacramento's had in the past decade, and they're not easy to beat at home. So this was a really impressive win. Now we have Oklahoma City and Houston on a back-to-back. If we can get both those games going into a very, very easy schedule right after that, that would be very promising. Hopefully we're able to take care of at least one of those games though. Previewing the OKC game, I'd love to see us go through Nurkic against Steven Adams. He's had success against him in the past. I think running the offense through Nurkic has to become a consistent staple of the offense. It sparks ball movement, it sparks player movement, it's not isolation. It's just good overall for the team. Damian against Russell Westbrook is going to be a fun matchup. Those two are always fun to see play against each other. Damian's had his success against Russ over the past couple years as well, so hopefully he can continue that. We swept the OKC Thunder last year, and this is our first meeting. They're the last Western Conference team that we haven't played yet, so hopefully we can continue that success from last year. I think the biggest problem for us is going to be defending Paul George, who is having a better season than Russell Westbrook at this point. Paul George is the MVP of that team, and he's definitely in the MVP conversation. He's getting almost 27 points per game right now, 8 rebounds and 4 assists. He's never gotten over 24 points per game, so he's definitely upped his production. And this is a dude that Mo Harkless and Al-Farouq Aminu are really going to have to bust their butt to guard. So anyway, that's all I got for this game recap, True Blazer fans. I hope you enjoyed. Catch Blazers Pulse dropping tomorrow. And with all that, I'm out of here. This has been Tori. Have a good day. Go Blazers.